Hey everybody, this is the unofficial episode 181 of the TCC podcast. Mark has holiday shit to do, and we were almost not going to do this episode, but I guess, talking amongst ourselves, there's a good amount to cover this week, and then I won't be here next week, so we didn't want the backlog to get out of hand. Plus, there's just a lot to talk about these new characters that just launched tonight and that have come out since. I am joined by one of the only two people we will let guest host TCC at this point, BC. I'm sure everyone that's everyone that listens to TCC or Ranting Hour already knows. I don't feel like introductions are needed, but just in case, BC, do you want to plug your shit?
Not particularly. Follow me on Twitter though, _black_Nero.
Oh yeah, he's been plugging that fucking Twitter like crazy. What's the goal there? To build more social media presence?
No, just to entertain myself.
That's a dark hole to go down. Twitter,
Twitter
for entertainment.
Yeah, I think my first tweet was I'm gonna get myself in trouble.
Yeah, like I don't get. You're gonna be one of those defo creators that have to delete all their tweets like 5 fucking times every time.
More than likely.
Yeah, I thought Twitter was just for porn too. I didn't know people actually use Twitter.
Well, I mean, I did say I was gonna entertain myself.
Anyways, BC here, best JP content creator in the community.
I don't know about that. That's high praise.
I said it.
All right, I mean, I've said it.
I'd like to see any contention to that. Who because a lot of our content creators are leaving at this point, right?
Are they? I don't know.
We'll have a send up, but like we've lost in the last month alone. Jet. Kiwi hasn't posted anything in a while. Shit, who else was a big JP content creator? Am I tripping?
I mean, Broadway still streams on Twitch.
VL's taking a break, right?
VL's taking a break, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he's just pulling back on his heavily edited videos, and he's just doing runs.
Hey, got 2 questions. Are you guys not streaming on YouTube today? And did you turn on a setting to not let this stream work on the Nintendo Switch? I have no idea of any setting that makes it not work on the Nintendo Switch. Sorry about that, Rogueson. And sorry, no YouTube today. Mark has all of those privileges. There's a very unofficial stream. We're only streaming to the Twitch today in a very informal format. This is a Ranting Hour / TCC crossover.
Hey, he said that. I didn't plan to bring any of that energy. I'm chill today.
Yeah, that's what this. Yeah, unofficial, whatever. AlphaNo has really good runs. Yeah, I can make defo content, but I won't be informative.
Shout out to AlphaNo, by the way. He just hit 2,000 subscribers without asking people to subscribe to him. Shout
out to AlphaNo. 2,000. Wow. Damn,
yeah,
it's doing well.
Yeah, I mean, his runs pop, but he never gets people to subscribe.
Well, I'll do all the shout outs. We usually save that for the middle section, but fuck it, we're all over the place now. But let's just jump right into it. First, very casually, I don't think in the last week there's been any big news in GL, right? Like no game changers, no QOLs, no.
Vanille is still not synergy on this raid. Is that news?
I'm telling you, I'm holding out for an FF13 anniversary banner. BT plus Lightning and Vanille on the same one with some sort of bonus, that's pretty feasible, I think. You don't think so?
If that was just a banner, yeah, I could see it. It'd satisfy the one new LT thing.
Right. And like some bonus on it. I don't know.
Yeah.
But like it definitely seems like it's too much of a coincidence that 2 FF13 characters are being pushed back a bit.
Yeah.
To me. Yeah. But so other than that, we're jumping straight into the Sazh event. At this point, so just to play with it, because Mark was saying, like, during garbage time, do we even want to talk about the fights? I don't know if the fights are worth talking about. So, but we will let's feel it out. Just jumping into this Sazh LD. I feel like we touched on that a little bit last week, but now that we've had some time with it, I'm curious how people feel about it, because so we already talked the mechanics of it. Was there anything else you wanted to talk about? Like with the LD, he gets the massive 95 attack up period for the party.
That's not massive.
You don't think
Not
that's
anymore.
massive? Dude, that's
No,
more than
100,
Jagron's BT effect.
Oh, I mean, listen, I don't know what to say to that. Massive to me is like in the hundreds.
Who currently in GL can break 100?
Barrett, Queen,
Fuck.
Maria,
Shit.
Rosa with their additional ability active, I think. Deuce with her magic, but it's Deuce. Yeah, but yeah, those are the people when I think massive attack. Like they can solo carry. Like I think that 95 is about average-ish, and
Slightly
like 60,
above.
Yes, I think 90 is about average, and I'd say 60 is below average.
J Dota is saying Arciella, but I don't. She's not
That doesn't
relevant
count.
today. Yeah, she's not relevant
Well,
today.
hey, she is in my heart.
Yeah. Can't wait for her. I can't wait for the FF11 FRs. They always do them
Oh
justice
yeah, I'm
for
about
sure.
to simp for that FR.
Yeah.
But yeah, but he's got decent attack ores, but then he's got 50% brave damage up and a theoretical 30% added onto that because of the stolen brave up thing. But it just functions a bit differently.
Right. So since we have BC on, he's gonna have a much more solid perspective, having lived through this already. So I know. I think last week you were agreeing on me. I was saying we talked about this a little bit in Discord earlier today. That I said I think supports are going to get slowly phased out when C90s come because AAs fulfill that role. So like Sazh.
Okay, so you said that, but I
Uh-huh.
think you were wrong there.
Okay, yeah. Great. Yeah. So
What AAs do in C90 is they raise your caps occasionally, and it can be a party cap, it can be a selfish cap, and it can also provide some brave gains up. But it's not providing any like offensive stat. It's not. The offensive stats, I believe, don't largely get increased.
What
to
about
support
with
levels.
ultimate weapons?
Okay, ultimate weapons are it's the same as putting up HP damage on a character now. Because for those who aren't familiar, when we get ultimate weapons, they are weapons that you can pass around between characters and based on weapon types, and they give you varying degrees of HP damage. The technical phrase is max brave cap up, but I refer to it commonly as HP capped because that's what it ends up being, and it gives HP damage up. And 0 to 5 is 10% to both, and 5 out of 5 is 40% to both. But even then, even if you're stacking HP damage up, like there is a break point where your brave damage doesn't matter, but that doesn't mean that supports can't still help you hit even harder.
Right. That's a good point. For people asking, there's several people asking about the YouTube stream. First of all, very surprising that so many people prefer YouTube. I think we eventually.
I'm on
as well.
YouTube all the time.
Yeah,
too,
yeah. I guess.
can't.
Yeah.
Because if I'm on mobile, I can't turn my screen off when I'm on Twitch.
That's very fair. So yeah. So sorry guys, no YouTube stream just this one time. This will get uploaded to YouTube later. But Mark is paying for a service where he can OBS Premium or something. We'll stream to both simultaneously. He's not here today, so we're doing a very informal one, but it will be on YouTube later. Very sorry for any inconveniences causes. On the bright side, the Twitch numbers look good today. Usually we're so split between YouTube and YouTube and Twitch. Like on a good day it'll be like 60 viewers on Twitch, but then there's like 70 plus on like YouTube, so our numbers are actually good, but they look terrible. Our numbers are looking a little better, but yeah, no, sorry guys. But yeah, going back to Sazh, so he's in Synergy right now. I know his EX and his LDs actually have quite a bit of dumps, so I want to retract a little bit what I said the other day. Oh, go ahead.
And his EX dumps don't matter because it hits like shit.
In Synergy, it's looking good. I'm just saying.
It's not.
No,
it's not.
Okay.
No. No, his EX is sad. Well, who did you run? I mean, I ran various, even with like Jex, BT, or
I didn't run them personally.
My ace friend.
I didn't run them personally.
It still wasn't doing that great.
I watch other people do runs, and on like a perfect hit, it could do like 300k, I think. Which I undersold him. I think I was like, oh, he caps at 100k on his skills, but he could do a little. But again, that's synergy.
Oh,
so
I
I'm
mean,
not skill
1 he'll cap.
Yeah. Right.
Skill 1's 2 HP attack. Skill 2 is 1 HP attack. So skill 1 sad. Skill 2 I should say is sad, but it also is free turn. So
right.
Not that offensive.
Yeah. So yeah. So that's just the recap on Sazh. I think we move on from there. Do we really want to talk about the fight? Is it anything worth talking about? Orb was crit damage.
It's long gone. People no turn the shit out of this.
Yeah, I mean,
And
we're gonna.
if you didn't know turn it, then you understood the fight. So
All I can remember is you needed some mitigation because they hit hard. It was the Gladio bosses, right, with the big nukes, right,
Porm
right.
ended up being very helpful for living through AoEs because you couldn't taunt. I did a challenge run and I did Maria, Zach, and Porum helped us live through everything. So accessible Porum's MVP on the stage, definitely.
Yeah, for sure. So that's it for the recap on Sazh. Let's move on to Fran LD, new territory here. So Fran LD, just to cover the basics. Shit, now I'm realizing I forgot. Mark actually recaps what the LDs do when they're new. Fran's is she had a stacking debuff that went up to 5 stacks that did a little bit of everything, 15 to 20% on each stat down, attack, defense, max brave, int brave, etc. Did she have the range weakness before on the 5th stack? I believe she
Yes.
did. Right, yeah. So now it goes to 10 stacks is what her LD allows. And what that
And
does
you
is
have to use the LD to get to 10 stacks, by the way. Just having her LD equipped doesn't mean you can get to 10.
right. Please go into detail when I toss it back to you on that. But
Yep.
right, like so it goes up to 10 stacks, basically doubling everything that went down and like yeah, no. Let me toss it to you before we dive into our opinions on it. But do you want to talk about like the LDCA call and everything and how it works?
Yes,
Okay, go
so
ahead.
you can refer to the Tonberry Troop infographic for the numbers, but largely off the dome, what I can tell y'all is that the LD call is nerfed compared to the base version. I mean, not the base version. If the Fran and party version, the call version of the debuff is worse than the actual if Fran was an actual unit in the party. The way you want to use it as a call, additionally off the bat, is that was redundant. You want to apply the LD call because the LD is the only way to get to 10 stacks. And then when that's at 1 stack, you want to reapply it, re-up the debuff because Fran has debuff start, and you want to get it to 6 more turns. Is it 6 or 4? Do you know how many she starts with? Whatever it is.
I want to say
She starts with,
6. I want to say
I think it's,
6.
it might be 4. I don't. Regardless, that's how you refresh it and keep it at 10 stacks just as a call. But the big things people care about on the debuff when Fran is in the party is that she gets 30% HP damage up, reduces the enemy's brave gains by 80%, and I think it's a 30%. I don't remember the exact brave damage up from the debuff, but I do know that the call version has the brave and HP damage buff. The amount of brave and HP damage that the target takes, it reduces it to only a bonus of 10%.
Mm-hmm.
So it's more slot efficient than a good bronze call at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's a fair assessment. And I want to say, so I know in JP when this came out, and probably into now, the hype for this is it's a great call, which I'm not sure I agree with because it's such a slot efficient debuff, right? 1 slot, all of these down. They're down like a small amount, honestly, medium amount.
Medium because it's
Medium
got
amount.
40% defense down
Right,
on it
right.
regardless, and you
Yeah.
notice that.
And I know, so from a GL player perspective, JP players love to talk about what a good call this is, and but from my experience, if you're gonna pull Fran LD, you'd rather have it in the party than as a call, right? Like, how do you feel about that?
Well, it can go both ways.
Okay,
One way
yeah.
you can abuse it is to have a friend unit, which people are. I have a friend up as well right now because you can just bring her in, have her use LD, and get it to
Shit,
get
that's a
10
good.
stacks.
That's interesting. I should
And
probably
this
do that. Yeah.
especially works for no boss turn strats. So you use her LD, and Fran gets a free skill after she uses LD. So you can, because she has 3 additional abilities, you can AA, get the free one, and then do it 3 more times, and she's gone. And then you can go nuts, and then you get and Eamon's, he said it's 40% brave damage up on the in-party debuff. So you got, it's better than Machina. I mean, not Machina, wrong type 0. Kurasame. So if you can get some crazy stacking with the Fran, and that's permanent. It's not like a BT effect where you lose it and it's gone the whole battle. That's a debuff that sticks the entire time, and that's a pretty important buff. So you can do that. But I forgot what you asked me.
No. I just said call or party, but you said friend is probably the best slot. Some people in chat are agreeing with you as well.
Depending on what you're trying to do, friend can potentially be enough. But if it's a call, at the end of the day, 10% HP damage up still adds up, and it is closer to Jack. It has I never remember how much brave damage dealt up Jack's call is. Do you remember?
Jack is 60% defense down, and
I'm pretty sure it's 50. 50 it's
is
50 and
it
30.
50? 50 is enormous. Is it really 50? I mean, that would make
50,
sense.
50 defense. Okay, so it's 50, Jack Call is 50 defense and brave damage 30. So
Okay,
Fran
30,
is
30. There you go. Yeah.
Fran is 40% defense down, brave damage 10, and HP damage 10. So that's pretty slot efficient, all things considered.
Yeah, fuck. I mean, but like, so party wise though, is she worth bringing in the party? Because that's where
Well,
her debuffs are the strongest, right?
her damage is not all that, so it goes both ways.
That's
On one
standard for
hand,
these supports,
you
though,
can
right?
you can drop her from the party, so sometimes like you've seen some of the people running debuff start people and then swapping them out. Like that was a popular strat on the Eda fight,
Yeah, yeah,
where
yeah.
people brought Gabrant in, and then because he had his starting debuffs, they used him as a call with HP damage up, and they got him out. You can do something similar with Fran, where if you need her to start in the party, and this is just low investment with just LD, she can get that stacks up, and then she could be gone for the rest of the battle. So it ultimately comes down to your playstyle. As for Fran contributing as a party member, her damage isn't the greatest, but as long as her debuff is a contribution in itself. So I think she does have some that debuff is strong, by the way. The 80% brave gains down is situationally good. I could not tell you off memory when I ever cared about enemies' brave gains, because there's probably a way to get around it, but it does provide an avenue around that. And I'm additionally not sure how they stack, if it's multiplicative or additional. It's probably multiplicative, because I'd imagine because Cypher has that on his debuff, and I don't think you can go beyond 100% brave gain reduction. I need to test that. Broadway saying with a lot of
Subs asking for a Totsu BC, as is his standard already.
everyone turn your volume down. I'm sorry. Let me drink some water first. I gotta. Me.
Fuck you. Go.
Oh,
Oh,
that was a good one. I haven't gotten one that good off in a while.
yeah. Hey, thank you, Broadway, for
Yeah,
stopping by, man. This would probably never matter, but if I brought a friend to get the debuff on, but then use the Fran call to extend it. No, that's not how it works, right? Didn't we talk about this?
Okay, so people crunched that out in TCC, and I read it, and I'm like, this might be good to know. I say all that to say I don't remember. Somebody figured it out.
I thought we fucking... Oh, shit, you're right. I can't remember exactly. This was talked to death in TCC. I want to say the LD version is considered the inferior version, and it does not count as the same debuff, because it counts as whatever the debuff is called, Vieira's punishment, parentheses C, as a call. I do not think it extends the actual good version of it, and I believe that the actual version overwrites it. If anybody on chat wants to confirm that, but I'm pretty sure that was the conclusion.
We could keep it moving, and I'll try and find that conversation in the meantime.
No problem. Yeah. It's Rogue's like Orin's debuff. Yes, correct. That is theoretically, I believe people found out that it is an inferior version that does not overwrite or extend the good version. So it's something to play around with. I think that's why a lot of people are saying Fran is ideal. At the end of the day, I really have no idea how to feel about Fran. I cannot dispute that all of that packed into one debuff is good, and as a call, pretty damn good. Upper echelon.
Yes,
for
because
sure.
we got to consider there might be people at this point who don't have people are looking for the Paine for the Kurisames. They might not have Gabrants, because Gabrant, the Cape banner wasn't that popular.
100%. But I just don't know if I would ever personally bring her into a part. Like, the debuffs are great, but friend or call seems ideal, because as everyone's saying, these supportish characters that we've been getting recently, the damage, I don't know if it's... You got to carry the damage. I mean, of course...
You do have to carry the damage.
Yeah,
which
isn't...
Is honestly, that's... I don't even think that's a great criticism, because we have such hyper carry damage
coming
nowadays.
Up, right? Yeah. Well, I mean, is that worth it? So, like, if we grab one of the Millionaire Club, would you run Fran through that? Did you run Fran and JP?
Not once.
I mean, like, is this something that you see having potential?
Nope.
Huh.
call. I mean, well, okay. Let me not say no.
Okay.
That's too binary an answer. Because Fran does also have the other goodies on her debuff, so debuff stacking is still a thing that was popular with Fran, so that's an option as well. But at the end of the day, what matters most is if you can kill the boss fast enough. So,
Inkwelder's
um,
saying that she's super good in an Edaroth or Rainsmal party.
I suppose, but I think that applies to any damage race team
Mm-hmm.
for the same strategy that I outlined before, where get her debuff start and then get rid of her. That alone is a significant contribution.
Yeah, I suppose.
30% HP damage up the whole battle. I mean, for the same reason, it's kind of like how we viewed Kurasame Call, except it's not nearly as flexible. It requires a bit more constrained run / team building.
Yeah, I guess ultimately that's where we'd slot her, right? You said this earlier too. For the no-turn teams, this is very good, and then
Yeah.
swap her out, and then like the debuff. Yeah, but it's a niche use. I think it's a fun concept. I think the stacking debuff is a fun concept. I think having that loaded of a single debuff is really good. I just don't know if that's something I would chase. I ended up with her, and she was fun to use. I do like the ranged. Of course, her fight was built for it. The ranged imperil,
Yeah.
and we have a good amount of decent ranged units now, and some more coming up, like Sid, FF7 Sid and stuff.
Titus,
Yeah,
just coming from the future in JP, where I'm Titusing and caning through everything. I'm really appreciating that debuff just for the range and peril.
Oh, important announcement. Nidre said there's some special New Year's sales going on right now. Let me check this real quick in the. There is a New Year's special sale, and he said the $75 one is 2 purple books and 4 purple ingots. So it's essentially a half-priced armor realization bundle, is what these current New Year's sale is. This is New Year's special sale 1, so I'm sure 2 will be the weapons, probably. But apparently, if you've ever wanted to buy this, it is half off now. So $37 would get you what $75 usually gets you, and $75 gets you double. Holy shit, that's I might get a 37 one just for the hell of it.
Is that a deal?
It half off, 50% off. That's a deal, right?
I don't know. I don't know the regular. I don't know if you're being sarcastic.
Wait, you don't think 50% off is a good deal?
Well, how much is it originally? Like, what if the original was a scam? Then...
I mean, sure, yeah. So originally 75 USD would get you a full MLB armor, blue armor. So now
Nidra
37.
says it's a deal, and I trust him.
Yeah, trust Nidre. Trust us,
I trust
whales.
Nidre.
I might get the 37 to blue and armor. I would do it. I'm gonna actually look. I'm gonna think pretty hard on that. But thank you for the update, Nidre. Yeah, no. So Fran, like, shit, guys, you guys know me. As much as I dislike debuff characters, this is someone who does decent debuffs in a single slot. I don't know if I'd main party her much, but
from a meta perspective, I would not main party her.
Yeah,
her
but like for people
lacking.
who like this playstyle, I can see the appeal, and I'm sure people are gonna make it work.
Or the debuff meme route.
Yeah.
I'm not well versed in that, so I won't speak on it.
Moonmeister says how to make money: 1, have ridiculous prices; 2, have a sale and slash.
Yeah, I was gonna give an analogy. Like if somebody was selling $1,000 pancake and then they sold it for half off, that doesn't mean it's a good deal.
That's true. Ink's like 75 for a green weapon is solid and way better than 2 blues. So like I guess this is getting people's attention.
Oh, I see.
But anyways, is the fight worth talking about at all? Probably not.
If you no turn it, watch out for the AoEs because they can hurt you. I mean, if you let them get turns, watch out for the AoE because it can hurt.
Right. Other than that, I've got no notes.
And they can paralyze you. So if you don't want to see that paralyzed, run Lena. Or because if you run a cleanser, then you're subject. Unless you're running a tank, then the tank will just get paralyzed twice. But otherwise, whoever they're targeting will get paralyzed, and that could be obnoxious and catch you off guard and get you killed.
Yeah.
Other than that, there wasn't too much pushback. A lot of people just rain smouth this and use like a Cane friend with the like an Irvine debuff because Irvine's regular call applies range and peril.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So you could do something like that, or you could bring a Fran without LD in the party and have her apply the debuff,
Yeah.
and then swap her out for Kane, and then rain spell, and then be done with it. So yeah,
It really does feel
um,
like the fights are getting easier. As much as some people want to disagree, there's so many options. There's so many ways to
that,
tackle it. The orbs are getting so generic, right?
yeah. I remember a meme around this time in JP. It was Shiva with all like the 20 mechanics. It was like the dog, the swole dog, and the little pussy ass dog in the corner.
Oh
It was
yeah.
Shiva with all the mechanics, and then it was, I forget what fight specifically they made it for, but it was like tickles you when the orb goes off or something.
Yeah. 5 second rule asks, is the new year LD banner not tonight? Sorry if someone's already asked. It is not tonight. I believe someone said it was tomorrow.
Oh, it's news to me.
Yeah, tomorrow I think would be New Year's and Universal time, and that's when the all the characters are on one banner. Is that LDs as well, BC? Oh, it
I
starts on
believe
the
so.
third. Someone's saying, shit. We don't have it's on daily reset. Okay, yeah. So it is
Yeah,
coming
yeah.
tomorrow. Okay. We're not tripping.
There you go.
Okay, cool. There you go. 5 second rule. It's gonna be tomorrow. Um, yeah. So, Fran, I don't know. Mid character.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
If you got range, if you're a fan of range, like if a good idea for blind eye because he's gonna run Titus. You got
Alright.
range units in mind. It's really good for range units. It's a marked damage increase. And unlike Orin, who doesn't have a frame, like having the fact that it's one of the things that pisses me off about running Orin sometimes as a call is that his generic melee resist down gets pushed off. If I'm not careful, my debuffs, but frames won't. So just think about who you like. If you run a lot of range units, it's definitely a good grab.
Nice.
But it's just a good, even if you're not running range, like range weakness makes it shine. Outside of that, it's just a good slot efficient debuff, and I think that's enough for me.
Nice.
I will never run Gabron's Call again.
Oh man, fuck, dude. I was just telling BC before, like I'll always admit when I make a bad decision, and I feel like Gabron, we all said like 10% HP damage. It's even though it's the first, it's the lowest one. You know, Kurosame was coming a few months later, but fuck, dude. Look, in hindsight, Gabron the LD call was fantastic
It adds up.
because Kurosame is resisted in certain fights that you just could not do it with Imperil Immune and stuff.
It
Gabron was
wasn't that
always
rare.
available.
I wouldn't agree with that reasoning. Plus, you could
It
just
stacks.
also
They
use
stack,
them both.
right? Yeah,
Yeah,
they
you can
stack.
use them both.
That's the biggest thing.
That's the thing I like talking about, like roll coverage. Like, why not just do both? Sometimes you can double up and be effective.
Shit. Sorry, Hitmonchan asked me a question. I'll save this for podcast questions. Shit.
Okay.
But moving on. Intermission, where we shout out the community. First, as BC was saying, hey, shout outs to Alphano for the 2,000 subs. You said?
Yeah, way.
Wait,
like,
what the
he's
fuck? That's way better than
criminally-
most of us. What do you have? I think that's like TCC numbers, if not more.
4,000 something.
Oh, okay. But yeah, but like, dude, Alphano is one of those people that I tend to forget about. Sorry, Alphano.
No. Choose violence. He deserves it.
No. Sometimes I forget because Alphano is not someone who's like active or marketing. He shows up occasionally and he chats, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
like Alphano. Sometimes I forget your existence, and then somebody posts your fucking runs, and you're doing some creative ass shit in JP. Like I cannot deny it, right? Like these are
awesome.
some like insanely cool runs in JP, which is we always say doubly impressive because no foresight. You know, you're just
Yeah.
working with what you have.
And he runs people who he likes to with the FF14 stuff.
Yeah, and he like never streams Defo. So and every time I see him streaming, it's like Yakuza or some shit. But like I keep forgetting what a legit fucking player Alphano is. He's like insanely, even though he's an FF14 player, right?
Yeah.
Like that can be forgiven because
He's the exception to the rule.
his runs are so good. Oh, hey, Anthony.
Oh, wow.
Okay, we'll get to that in a second, Anthony. We will. But any thoughts on Alphano?
He's a loser, but he's also a cool guy. And shout out to him being too lazy to ask people to subscribe because his runs do numbers. Just people won't be subbing to him.
I know, that's crazy, right? Because we always talk about the only runs people are usually interested in watching are the no-turn runs. But that's not what he does, right?
Yeah,
Like,
Alphano does just cool stuff. Like he does novel things and he has great thumbnails, and he brands well, and he does he has he's really good at like what he does, and people come back consistently because he's always running something cool, and he's doing what he wants to. So he's got an identity. He stands out. That's how you stand out, doing something unique and then branding it well. It's just that he doesn't complete the sale.
Even better is I think he does it purely for fun, not for clout. Like I don't think he does like bonkers runs for clout, guys. I think he actually enjoys.
He said it in his 2,000 subscriber video. He said he just did it as a side thing to keep himself entertained, and he didn't think it'd get this far. So he's not trying to get popular. So I mean, he deserves it. That's what I'm trying to say. Great guy. He's a legitimately great person.
Hey, cheers to you, Alpha No.
Yeah.
And also, speaking of key players, obviously this is coming. Everyone's fucking been bugging me about it, guys. Inkwelder has officially stepped down from DissidiaFFOO content creation. If you haven't seen the Reddit post that Telute put out, or you didn't listen to the ranting hour yesterday, he has officially resigned from Tonberry Troop, and he said that Tonberry Troop now consists of Cell pretty much running the ship, with Telute doing the research and Anomander doing the fight research. So Tonberry Troop is down to 3, which means the next batch of infographics, I expect that icon to be changed to 3 Tonberries instead of 4. And
it's cool. What the hell?
It's an end of an era, right? Like how do we even send off Ink? What a long time friend of TCC and ours personally.
That's easy. Just make a bad analogy.
No, yeah, let's do it. Okay, that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. So like at first tonight, first of all, Ink is right here in chat with us. I'm insulted you didn't ask me to make a goodbye post for you, because I woulda, and I was even thinking about it today, but then the COVID booster shot fucking murdered me.
Counterpoint: who would think to ask you to make a goodbye post?
Yo,
well, wait,
I'm the DissidiaFFOO.
Why would you ask someone to make a goodbye post for you? What kind of weird shit is that?
He did that for Tell. That's what Tell did.
Tell said no. I didn't Tell say in his Reddit post that Ink didn't want to make one.
Yeah, he said that Ink didn't want to make. Read it.
You have
read
selective
it.
memory.
Read it. Yeah, I do. Read it. But I'm pretty sure he said that Ink gave him permission to get the internet clout by posting the goodbye post. Pretty sure that's what the fuck happened. But either way,
I'm
the most famous.
I'm gonna read the post. I'm gonna read the post.
All right, go ahead.
Ink is retiring. He said he's too modest to make a goodbye post, so I'm gonna rake the karma for him because I'm shameless. There was no Inkwelder approval in that. Tell said he's just doing it himself. Continue.
Let me get that. Sorry, like fucking Hitmonchan's texting me right now. We'll get to this in podcast questions. He's saying like, so I want Machina BT. Which banner should I pull on? Paine, Snow, or Ursula? And then I said Ursula, but that's because Ursula is a personal favorite for me. That's what I'm doing. I don't know. He's like, objectively, which one is better? So we'll talk about that when we get there, I guess, because he's asking, and that's a good question. I think.
That is a good question.
I think the 3 banners on this cycle are pretty fucking decent, all around.
Yeah.
So I don't know what to tell him because I just personally favor Ursula, but we'll get to that. So Ink.
Simple.
First of all, I'm the de facto DissidiaFFOO Reddit writer, right? Like Ink,
word.
you should have asked me to write you a goodbye post. I would have sent you off in style. I was almost going to do it. You know, COVID booster fucked me up. And then I was going to give you a big send-off tonight, but I'm tired from work and already drinking, so that's gone as well. But in a few shut up. In a few sentences, shut up. In a few sentences, Ink, you were one of the first, one of the best. You worked with all the content creators. You made yourself known. Your infographics are fucking invaluable to the community. I believe on that post alone, so many people said, even in the Discord and on Ranting Hour, so many people said they probably would not have continued playing this game if the infographics were not a thing. It made the game so much more accessible, like information-wise, and just something to look forward every event.
Square Enix plenty of money.
Yeah. Like you will go down in DissidiaFFOO history in the GL community. I fucking guarantee
Mark has been
you.
left.
I guarantee you that. And so, like, you're still gonna hang around. You're our friend. We love you. BC, me,
Speak for yourself.
been such a good friend. You're still showing up on ranting hour, etc. But like, you were a defo titan, a giant, right? And I'm not gonna say you're irreplaceable because I believe that once one person steps down, there will be many to try to rise up and take their place. And we've seen that over and over. BWS, if you're still here, you were a defo titan as well. But you stepping down meant a lot of content creators stepping up, and I mean that's a good thing, right? Like,
Yeah,
once a giant falls, many more take its place. This is how you allow the future to generate. It's good to pass the reins on, and now we have Selly Belly to take up the reins, fresh blood, right? Selly Belly's very passionate about this. He's looking into innovations. We were just talking about compendium versus database as well, right? Fresh blood to take up the reins and push it to even greater heights. So Ink will still be around. He'll still be playing casually, but he is no longer heading Tonberry Troop, and cheers to him. Analogy. We got to give him an analogy.
Ink leaving is like a taco.
Shit, I was gonna do a taco one.
Becoming a hard taco
God
shell.
damn it!
And having the cilantro inside refrigerated at 47 degrees Celsius.
Fuck. How do I top that? Ink.
Too good.
Ink is like the Lincoln of the defo Mount Rushmore, except now that his face is crumbling, several faces that were hidden beneath are coming to the surface to take his place. Come on, that's gotta be ink level right there, right? That's gotta be ink level right there, right?
Allow me to quote Gandhi real quick. Tacos are the most desirable food to human beings, and if you don't eat them 3 times a day, you probably kick animals. That's a real Gandhi quote, by the way.
Your analogies are inimitable. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. I tried to do my best parody. I don't think it came close. I tried to be as nonsense as possible. Please, that's gotta have guys.
The fact that Ink Welder went WTF. Yes, that's how we feel.
Too good of an analogy, Mino. Guys, chat, please vote. If I knew how to do these channel points, please vote who had the better ink analogy. Who did the better ink impression?
I was better just because I went first.
Me or VC, guys. Please vote in. He took the tacos. He took the tacos. Like, yeah, that's his whole identity. Like, come on. Oh shit. Okay. All right. So no, Ink will still be around.
Someone clip that, by the way. Someone clip all that.
Yeah. Ink will still be around. And the best thing I want to say, same thing I said when Goose stepped down too. Like, guys, it's okay to love the game and not create content for it. It's okay not to make this a second fucking job. That's how you burn out. I really don't want to see people burn out. Like, R.I.P. Vane Novus, right? Or like VL taking a break. All these people taking a break.
He didn't die, by the way. He just stopped playing.
Yeah, please take a break when you need to. Know what it's not your job to do this. Please enjoy the game as you will. And I think Ink will agree that now that he's stepped down from these forced responsibilities, he's just having more fun with the game. No, that's what he said in Ranting Hour yesterday, right? Like, he's just enjoying the game instead of focusing on what work he has to do. Like, when a GL first comes out, it's no longer, holy shit, I need to stay crunch on time. Yeah, like crunch time, I need to stay up and do this infographic and get it out on time and bullshit. It's just like, oh cool, a GL first, right? Like,
yeah, nice.
Finally enabled to do the fucking game. Skadash says it's Mino's job. As I was saying with Blart as well, leave this for us old guys. Blart, Raw, me, Mark, we're old. We have very routine. We're very set in our routine. Our leisure time is very scheduled, so it's very easy for us to do this week in, week out. For all the younger guys like Goose and BC and the others, like, they got a lot of life to experience, man. Don't fucking chain yourself down to a mobile game.
Not. I think they could do less now that the pandemic's lightening up compared to before. I did a lot of stuff when the pandemic was kicking off.
We're still doing terrible. You kidding me? Like, it's not
it's better than it was a year ago.
We'll see.
And you know
Numbers are
that's
climbing
true.
again. Numbers are climbing again currently.
Whatever.
All right.
Regardless, live your life, people.
Yes. All right. So let's get to the meat of this now. Tonight's event: Paine LD, Toto BT plus, Machina BT plus. Usually I do LD to BT pluses, but do you want to do Toto BT plus just to get it out of the way, since there's probably the least to talk about there?
Skip.
Okay, I'll do
That's
it then.
the tweet.
Toto BT plus. We've had several people ask on our Discord, why is Toto BT plus memed as the worst BT plus? I believe it's because her BT effect is so underwhelming, right? Like, the whole point of a BT plus, the whole point of greening it, is to double the duration of the BT effect.
Yeah.
I don't think Toto is necessarily a bad unit, not a great one, but when you're bringing, like, when you're greening BTs, it's to get a lot of mileage out of the effect, right? And my God, did she get fucked over on the effect? I feel like everyone almost does her effect better. Her effect is they added Dark Enchant, and they added, like, Brave Cap 50%, as well as some Overflow as well. But, like, that's it.
It's a total of Brave Cap up by like 50%.
Yeah.
I think, based on what she already had.
More weakness damage, too, I believe.
Yeah, I don't remember. But she helps you hit dual. I mean, I think the Brave damage up. I think she got Brave damage. I'll pull it up real quick.
Yes,
but
please.
What it ends up being is she got Dark Enchant that half of her kit can't take advantage of.
Yeah, I that was a comparison I saw, right? They're like, Kuja got Holy Enchant, but that hits all of his skills, and,
Yeah.
like, it enables a lot of his kit, whereas hers feels tacked on because it's just the LD and the S2,
And
yeah.
S2 is not; those aren't great buttons to suppress either. Even because Skill 2 finally got it. Tintoto's been reworked at least like 10 times.
I feel like she just got fucked. I feel like they gave her some powerful concepts, but they don't want to make it too powerful. Like the Omni Dispel, Omni Imperil is in theory a strong ability, but I feel like they want to rein her back and not give her too high a number because Omni Imperil enables too many characters potentially, or like
Not even that. Just with the way the game started going is that people who did elemental damage largely started imperiling their own stuff.
yeah, that's fair.
And a lot of the time it ends up being framed, unless you're Goldess.
That's fair. I mean, she still has yet to get a C90 in JP, right? So
Correct.
I look forward to what they're gonna do with her.
Like, even if her effect was like this, Kuja has a similar effect of massively buffing Brave damage, but Kuja brings the supporty stuff. Like, even when his BT effect isn't up, he's always got the Holy Enchant and he's helping people hit harder. So that would mean the equivalent for Toto would have to have her hitting really high damage, and she's not doing that. Or to be doing some massive support to the party, and she's doing neither. They didn't touch her skill 1 at all. 4 HP attacks, assuming Accursed Gaze is up, which it should be, and 2 HP attacks with 80% splash on her skill 2. That's not the greatest damage ceiling.
It's not.
And
It's not. Lack
especially
of
right
lack of
next to
HP
Machina.
damage up and everything too is
Yeah.
like most people will get that Brave damage up, but I believe she only gives it for elemental weakness damage. That's
Correct.
very
And so
specific.
the Dark Enchant helps fill that hole in her kit,
yeah.
because assuming her EX debuff should be active.
Right,
So
right,
if they're doing elemental damage, you will be able to benefit from this. That's kind of how our BT plus was balanced. I mean, or BT was balanced on release. Bring elemental damage characters so they can take advantage of it. But now she makes everyone, even if you're not elemental, you can take advantage of it. But Toto also burns through set effect because she has high turn rate on all her skills.
Yeah, it's rough. I'm just holding out that this is like an in between phase. This is fine. I'm gonna green Toto. I'm just hoping her C90s or FR coming will give her
You just gotta
another
bump her
breath
damage up.
of
That's
life.
really
Yeah.
it's really that simple. Just bump her damage up
Catching up
and pray for BT boards.
Catching up on chat, Aurelius Marcus says Inkwelder's departure feels as cold as a phone that was left in the refrigerator. You win. You
Yes,
win for
that was it.
references.
That was
That's come on.
that was the winner.
That was
by far.
That was king.
Isn't this guy like the same? Sounds familiar. Isn't he usually on point with this stuff?
I don't fucking remember.
I think he is. I'm pretty sure this guy like just does nothing but bangers.
Yeah. And
that made me remember that Ink left his phone in the refrigerator. I forgot about that completely. That beat tacos. Well done.
Rogueson says, just got a runner with Golbez. She brings the Dark Enchant that he should have had, and a Framed Imperil. Framed Imperil?
Then you're running Toto and Golbez.
Right.
So.
And then a lot of people are defending, saying that this kit used to be relevant back when the DPS weren't imperiling their own units, elements, and when calls didn't exist for imperils either.
Yep. Calls didn't help Toto's case
So
either.
to go on a tangent, because we have plenty of time, apparently when it's just me and BC, we're getting through these topics much faster for some fucking reason. But
we both talk fast.
Yeah.
Mark is a well-practiced speaker.
Hey, Rez, thank you for the raid. Thank you. How were your Paine polls, by the way? I know you pulled. I know Paine's your girl. So how'd they go? But while you're answering, a lot of people were saying, like, yo, Toto is one of the most reworked characters in the history of DeFo, but she's always been shit. I'm going to push back. I really think her LDBT saw some use. I think I was arguing with BC and Deidre about this earlier today.
I don't think it was an argument. I think it was an agreement.
Her LD was one of the first unique paralyzes. So she was used a lot in cheese strats when paralyze was when the bosses were immune to paralyze. And she hit damn decently hard on her launch, and a little later, like, she was synergy a couple of times, Camelot's event, etc. Anything that required like elemental weakness, like, she saw use. So I don't think Toto was shit every single iteration. I really feel like LDBT was her best iteration.
This is a raid, so the Chaos Co-op is good because we finish it faster. Never mind.
Oh, we can get to that when we get to the event for sure. I actually haven't. Resfoina says I actually haven't played X2. This banner was going to be a skip till I read more about Paine's kit. Hey, great! We're literally just about to go into talk about Paine's kit, and there's a lot to get into here. A lot to sink our fucking teeth in. And Rogueson says Shen LD BT won me Abyss. Right, I think there was a
good
Dark
call.
Crystal Abyss there.
That's true.
Yeah, very good.
With the black crystal.
J Dota, thank you for the shout out to Resfoina.
Yeah.
Resfoina, look forward to your DeFo career. I think now that Tails has sunk, sadly, this might be your main gacha now between this and FEH. So really look forward. Rip Prestoria. So sad. I know that was your main game for a while. Very, very sorry about that. But yeah, good shout out. So, any last thoughts on Toto, guys? I'm gonna pull a reverse Jegron here, and say, I know Toto is shit. I'm gonna fully invest, and I'm not gonna fucking bitch on all the discords about how good or bad she is.
You're not gonna run over Lena and do melt damage?
Yeah, can I just pull a reverse Jegron? I'm never gonna tell you guys about my Toto. I'm not gonna preach the Toto gospel. I'm gonna actually fully invest and not skip. Like I feel like I'm the opposite of some of these Jegron fans here, but like, guys, we don't need to hear this isn't gonna make the final cut of the podcast, but I hate Jegron now, just because the fans so ardently defend him. And shout out to Somegi, who's been playing for about a year. But I'm not saying that's a mark against her, just that she hasn't seen it. But she's like, well, no one got trashed as bad as Jegron. Half the cast got trashed worse than Jegron. Guy, Kadaj, Yuffie, Zell, a lot of these characters got shit on relentlessly.
You need to watch your mouth about Yuffie.
No! She's
talking about Yuffie's LD? Yuffie's EX and LD were good.
Oh, here we
You're
go.
On crack cocaine.
Oh my god.
Nidra, all right, Mike. I got my eater off cooking. How's everyone doing? Yeah, you're on drugs. Yuffie's fine.
BC is 100% correct. Shut up, y'all fucking liars.
Guy was a mess.
I
remember misses, but Yuffie was not one of them. Barrett was a mess.
Barrett, Barrett. Mess. Rosa. People,
Rosa got dumpstered.
I almost want to say Queen got dumpstered, and she was a hipster pick when she released. Only like the challenge runners picked her up. but the general public didn't. I almost want to say.
Fujin.
Oh, Fujin. Right. Anyways, yeah. Moving on. Paine LD. New weapon here. All right. So so fucking BC has been saying all week that he feels like Paine cannot be summarized very easily. Do you want to take on that challenge?
I'm going to say that I did not say that at all.
Oh my god.
That was not even close to what I said.
What did you say? What did you say?
I said Paine is more complicated than usual.
You said it would. You did say this. I'm looking at it right now. You said it would be a challenge to summarize what she does in a minute.
Yes.
Okay. Do you think you're up for that challenge, or should I give it a shot?
I already lost. I can't do it.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna try, and then BC will fill in whatever gaps that he thinks I missed. But I feel like Paine is very, very simple to explain. This is how. Okay. So Paine has, first of all, very cool first-time mechanic, and I don't think it's come back since. Where
Lunafreya.
Really? Oh
yes.
Shit. Okay, let's talk about that when we get there. Okay, dude, no, because I was like, dude, the game needs more of this, right?
I couldn't tell you how Lunafreya works though, but okay. I know she has some positional shit.
I can probably look that up for us later. But so Paine was the first of what we were hoping would be a new trend, where depending on where she's positioned in the party, she gets a different aura. Okay? Help me out here, BC. Which one is buffs? Which one is debuffs?
Here,
left or right?
Says,
left or right? Left or right?
Is the clock running right now? Because he already failed.
No, this doesn't count. No. Okay.
Oh, it doesn't count?
All right, okay, fine. Okay, fine. Okay, I'm doing it right now.
I have a mnemonic to remember what side does what. It's based on Paine's placement in the party.
Okay.
When Paine is on the left, she is able to lift the party.
Oh
and
my
this
God.
is where you get the, and this so you want to run buffers with her. And when Paine is on the right, she reduces the enemy stats.
Oh shit, that's
so
pretty good.
With her.
That's pretty good. I'm impressed. That's pretty good. Okay, so anyways, here. I'm going to start my minute over. This is my minute. Okay, so Paine has different auras depending on where she's positioned in your party. Okay, she has a buff stance and a debuff stance, which was what I was going to go for before I knew the positions. So the buff stance is once she's positioned on the left, any party members that are positioned on the right there, so she gets a buff aura when she's positioned on the left. So any allies that are positioned on the right that buff increase this buff aura. And then same, she has a debuff stance, which is on the right. Any party members to the left of her that debuff increase her debuff aura. And if she's placed in the middle, she gets a hybrid of both. That's my summary. Pretty good, right? But we're
no, not good enough because you didn't say what happened.
No, that's the summary. If you want to dig deeper,
that's not even a good summary because those buffs could be anything. Like they could be complete ass, or they could be really like the fact that you didn't list what the buffs are quickly is relevant because you didn't say that she gets 40% fucking brave gain up on the
Look,
left.
it's a buff mode and a debuff mode. You either like debuffing the enemy or buffing your party.
BT level auras.
That's a good one.
Level auras.
That's a good one.
If she commits to a side.
That's a good one.
Or you could go halfway in the middle.
We said a rough summary. Like I feel like what I said.
Okay. No, then you're right on that front because it was definitely rough.
Fuck you, chat. Speak up. Like you should understand the basics of Paine. We're gonna deep dive now. We're gonna deep dive into the mechanics, but that should tell you how she works. She has a buff aura and a debuff aura, and if you put her in the middle, she gets half of each.
I don't even think that was good enough because it's still a you didn't mention that it's how she gets those stacks. That's the important part.
Oh, that's the deep dive. Come on, I said
that's not a deep dive.
I said buffs increase. I said buffs increase the buff aura. Debuffs increase the debuff aura. That's the good enough.
Did you actually say that?
Yeah, I did.
I already decided.
Fuck you. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Let's break it down now. Okay. So fill in the gaps first. You were gonna say so BT level auras if you pick a side instead of going straight down the middle, right?
Yes. If she's on the left, let me pull up the details because usually I don't like focusing on numbers but Paine's
Oh
auras
shit,
are
shit. Hold on, sorry. Call out
so
here.
variable.
Rogueson says, Nero, you always say numbers don't matter as long as the buff and debuff helps increase damage. Doesn't matter. Okay, that was a little butcher. Basically, he's saying you
Yes,
always say
and
numbers don't matter. So
exception. This is the exception to the rule, because Paine's numbers fluctuate. So if I could say she gives a lot of brave gain up, and then you're kind of halfway right, because I could say she nearly gives her total levels of brave gain up if she's all the way on the left, and she goes halfway if she's in the middle. Um, but Magnol was also making a good point. When we're talking 40% brave damage up, the numbers do matter because that's unprecedented outside of BT effects. Because usually when I say numbers don't matter that much, I usually don't talk about the offensive stats that people get. Like, okay, whoop-de-doo. People got fucking 20% brave and HP damage up on their LD buff. Like, that's something you don't notice in context. But applying a 40% brave gain up to the party is nearish total levels, and that's worth calling out.
okay, that's fair. So okay, so let's talk
Nidre
about.
asks, why aren't we reading your super chats?
Okay, so first let's talk. Let's break it down step by step. I feel like there's a lot to cover here. So
I hate
the
Nidre.
auras on one side or the other extreme, it's 10 stacks, and then in the
Yes.
middle, it's 5 of each. So
Yes.
buff side, go. It's brave gain up, 40%
Yes.
maxed. And what are the other? Let me pull up the.
But I gotta find it. And also an easier way to tell what you need to do for each side is the icon on Paine's LD. So there's a down red arrow on the left, and there's a up teal arrow on the right. And so whatever side that the teammate is on, that's what they need to do to increase those stacks.
Wait. Can you go over that? What about the icon?
So it kind of sucks that I can't show it on screen right now, but her LD icon, there's a red and there's a left. There's red on the left.
Oh,
and there's right.
yeah. I see it on the
so it
infographic.
tells you what you need to do.
Yeah. There's a red down arrow
them.
and a green up arrow. Got it.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So whoever's on that side needs to do.
Oh, that's
that
pretty nice. That's
order
neat. That's neat. Yeah. And
That's a
so,
nice touch.
so on the one extreme, if you go full buffs and place her on the left lifts, right? Yes.
Yeah, she's lifting the party, and so in order to increase that, Paine needs to be on the left, and everyone else on the team everyone to her right should be using buffs.
So that's
but
60
this is so Paine can
plus 60% brave damage plus 40% brave gains and overflow. Very significant.
40% overflows. That
Yes.
is a lot. I
Yes.
think that's like Porum or Lena levels of overflow.
Well, I mean, there's an HP damage cap, right? So there's a limit to
Yes.
it. Yeah.
But those overflows can matter in certain, like Jagron, actually, people who like him would benefit heavily from heavy overflows. That can be significant. Split damage just loves overflows.
Very fair. And then on the debuff side, if you put her all the way on the right, what you get is a debuff aura that gives 50% HP damage up. Huge. 50%. And 50% reduced brave damage and brave gain to the enemy, which I think
they deal less brave damage to us.
Yeah, they do half the brave damage that they would normally do, and they gain half the brave. These are some fat numbers.
Yeah, these are the stuff that BT effects have if you commit to a side. If you can't decide, and you're like my ex, then you can just go in the middle and get the best of both worlds.
Taco says, for characters who matter, as in current DPS, is Overflow even relevant? And Nidre says, I agree. I don't pay attention to Overflow at all.
It's a niche use case. So like I said, Jagron, who because the way it's specifically split damage that can really matter. Split damage, and maybe if you have multiple HP attacks, like Zach, for example, if he's refunding hard enough, but he doesn't have the gained amount of overflow, that ends up being a damage loss. So it's niche. So most of the time, you don't really care about overflows, but if you're trying to really like team build and maximize some damage, then it can go the extra mile. But then people get a bunch of overflowing.
I think that's the best way to put it. But I'm gonna circle back once we actually cover the objective stuff of her kit about how she's like a niche slot. Right. We'll cover the subjective opinions after we cover the objective. So we're just saying that's what you get in max buff stance and max debuff stance, and if you put her in the middle, you get about half of each. Yes. Which I think is still pretty decent. Half of each.
So you're getting 25.
Depending
Like
on the
the
party.
stats that people care about: 30% brave damage, 25% HP damage up for the party, 20% brave gains. Those are the big ones people care about.
Yeah, and so that out of the way. So first of all, this is a perfect episode to send off Ink because so many people are saying that the infographic sold them on Paine. Like they didn't really care about Paine until they saw the numbers on the infographics, and then they were convinced to pull. Resfoina just said that as she rated, and others as well, saying like, "Damn, I didn't." Nidre said it. Nidre is like, "Damn, I didn't know she did that."
A lot of people who have JP and GL accounts, myself included, once we took the time to read and understand Paine, we were like, "Oh, wait, that's good."
Yeah. And as Macnell said, BT level auras partially.
Yes,
so
that's
impressive.
It is BT level auras.
Yeah, so not only great episode to send off, like that's how helpful the infographics are to the community, but also Inkwelder found some groundbreaking discoveries we need to fucking publicize, which is we were under the wrong impression of how these auras tick up. Do you wanna cover this? Should I?
Yes.
Okay.
So I got it. So the previous understanding, and I was guilty of this as well, was that it was Rem's infographic. Rem made an infographic on it and explained the party stuff pretty well. But the issue with the infographic was that he stated that Paine's stacks on each side went up every time for every two debuffs?
Yeah, he said every time you do 2 debuffs, it'll go up by 1.
I know it was at least 2 debuffs applied.
Yeah.
At least made it seem like you need to do 2 debuffs at once for the debuff side, or 2 buffs at once for the buff side. But what Ink found out is that it's not actually 2 at once, at least 2 at once. It is 4 every 2, which means you can apply 1 and then 1. So say, for example, a character has a single framed buff they apply to themselves. If they apply that frame buff to themselves twice, that will give them 1 stack of the buff.
Yeah. To simplify a little more, I think you jumped... Each buff or debuff
0.5.
is 0.5, right?
Yes.
And it's cumulative. So there's no threshold. You don't have to do 2 to hit the 1. As BC was getting into, if you just buff yourself once and then once again, it'll go up by 1. So it's every buff or debuff is 0.5 and it is cumulative. Yeah, sorry, finish up.
That was it.
Okay. and so what this means, and we're discovering, is that the team building is nowhere near as intimidating or restrictive as we thought.
Oh, one more thing.
Yes.
You can trigger this with calls.
Yes,
So
right.
Buff
That's
start calls and debuff applying calls.
Right.
Ferris
So
for debuffs, Caius, or Hope, or Sazh, or Kate Sith. Or
exactly, and don't forget, I think as Goose did, is that it applies to multiple targets as well. So if you apply 2 debuffs to like 3 targets, that's 6. Yep. Right there. So experimenting with that, a Ferris call will max out the debuff aura on its own, or a Hope call will max out the buffs on their own, and you only need to do it.
I think
once.
that's gonna. I don't know if the math is correct on that.
Okay, well it'll get damn close.
It'll help. It'll increase.
Right, you could do it purely through calls. You could do it purely through calls.
Yes, if you're dedicated.
Does Ferris CA count double for entry then applying? CSDX asks.
I don't know.
Oh yeah, I guess we're gonna have to test that CSDX. Yep. But basically, what it is you hardly have the team build around this if you have the right calls. Hell, even the summons add to this, like Ramu Paralyze and shit. So,
does it? I didn't know that.
So basically, if you could put whatever you want to the right or left of Paine, as long as you set up the call. First, as long as you set up the calls, it could skyrocket. Second is, even if you don't set up the calls, you'll get there eventually. So, like, let's say Hope doesn't get you all the way to 10. Let's say that gets you to, like, 8. Then you can just leisurely take your time to buff up to 10, right? Like, even if you're like Kane, who, like, self-buffs by 2 or 3 a turn on every move he does, basically, or on S2, like, you will get there. So, depending on how much you care about the ramp up, you will either get there eventually, or you can try to max it out ASAP. There's a lot of layers to this depending on how you want to play. And
D Kapow says Fair's call not very effective for raising Paine's counter. Why? I'm not disagreeing. I'm just curious why you say that.
yeah. We're curious. And Ingwalder says, I don't believe entry counts for debuffs. Have to confirm. Alright, is what Ink is saying. Either way, this should make team building around Paine much easier. Everyone, please experiment and report back with your results. But thank you once again, Ink, for finding this. This is always a joy of us finding, like, dissecting these mechanics. That's why we fucking talk about this shit. That being said, okay, so that's the breakdown of Paine. Now, how do we feel about Paine? I'll go first since I have the less educated GL take, and then, we got BC here who's seen more action, probably.
Oh, I get lots of action. I'm sorry.
Shit. So, so my first instinct is to say that probably like every other support character, her personal damage is less than desirable, is what I'm going to put out on the table. From what I've seen, we started this show as soon as the event dropped, so I have not had hands-on time with her. Just watching various videos here and there and doing research.
Nice. Jack calling the wrong target in co-op. Gotta love
it. And so, that being said, as we talked about before, I do think this is sort of niche, because you're right. These buffs and debuff auras can be really good with the right teams, but they're not universally good. Right? Like, if you have an insanely top-tier DPS, he probably does not need this extra brave damage up. Or
there's diminishing returns.
Yeah, there's diminishing returns. He probably does not need this brave damage up. He probably does not need this overflow. Right? But it does significantly boost the people who do need it. And then same with the debuff aura, right? Like go ahead.
They're correcting things, and Goose is saying that Ferris calls entry
maxes out on 3 targets. Separate. Okay, yeah, so Ferris does max out.
I wasn't paying enough attention, but I think I used Ami's LD call in co-op and it maxed it, but I can't confirm. I don't know why I bothered saying that.
Do we know if the buff debuff ticks up if you don't have slots available for them to land? I assume no. Right. I mean, I'm pretty sure. We haven't tested this yet either, but it's when something is applied.
More testing.
When it's
stay tuned, guys.
I think it's when something's applied, right? So like you'd have to overwrite something to apply it, right? Nidre, you can't apply anything if the slots are full. And
I remember Zach saying she was bugged on release.
Yeah, Hanchu saying entry debuffs did not raise the stack in the very beginning. Right.
Very possible change.
Yeah,
so I guess we'll leave it up to people to research it. Join the Discord so we can talk about it some more later.
Yeah. This is great. This is the type of character that the community can rally around and fucking find shit out. Multiracial says, even with that high-end DPS, having Paine with them will allow you to run different supports. Perhaps one that is themselves niche, but gives you something nice, like Kate not having Brave Gains. Right. True, Multiracial. I'm just saying I truly believe when C90 garbage time comes, people can run 3 DPS, no problem. I truly believe that. So it is very hard to say, while in conventional context, this is very cool, practically, with foresight, probably not needed, which is why I'm relegating that to niche. I'll have BC
niche
follow.
Might be a little harsh, because again, BT level auras definitely have their place. My main line of thinking though was it is a BT level aura, but oh shit, is this Earth immune in the fight? That'd be bad. I use Brother Summon. Don't use Brother Summon at the co-op, guys. You'll end up like me. The issue is that if you have those BTs, what incentive do you have to use that? Or what incentive do you have to use Paine over that? That makes sense. It's a similar thing to Lena, where if you can fulfill what she's already doing, do you really need this? And you could argue that the flexibility, like Lan made a great point, that Paine having this power, depending on how you slot her, could potentially free up some other slots. Macnell saying great character for challenge runs. Absolutely.
I'd say like the new Queen almost. Queen was amazing for challenge runs. Holy shit, her auras and No, I'm going to compare it to Queen basically, where the average Joe player did not need Queen and did not want Queen necessarily, because while
Yeah,
she was giving the fattest ass auras you've ever seen, like 130% attack I think and shit like that, the meta deeps like Vaughn and stuff didn't need that at all. But in the
correct.
challenge runs, so we were saying if you remove the top DPS, she was putting in crazy work, right?
Yeah.
So
So
so so
if
yeah.
you're lacking in that good stuff, then Pain is a great choice.
So I'll
But
say yeah.
if you have the good stuff, then it's a bit harder. And speaking from my personal experience, part of it in JP was just not knowing what the fuck she did and not knowing taking the time to do it. So that's on me. But there's always diminishing returns on this stuff.
Yeah.
And if you're getting through just fine, and garbage time doesn't twist this, unfortunately. I think it's possible to sing Payne's praise and say how good she can be, but I can't really make a hard recommendation on her to pick her up because you could probably live without her. Just because
100%.
we're
Yeah,
getting
yeah, yeah.
self-sufficient units.
And subjectively, that's what we're saying. So like, while it's not a meta pick, and I feel like it's really hard to call meta picks going into garbage time. We'll talk
Yes,
about
I'm
that.
having a lot of trouble with that as
Yeah,
well.
yeah. The point is like, so I always say, I first and foremost speak from personal experience, and it's characters like these that keep the game fresh for me. I think the mechanic is
There's
really
a
cool.
huge fun factor.
Yeah, I think the mechanic is awesome. There's so many ways to interact with it. We always talk about decision points, and video games should be about choice. And there's so many ways to interact with this mechanic and play around it. And I'll say the same thing I said about Queen, which is this enables a lot of garbage favorites.
And Queen is still like doing content just fine right now.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
watching Soul do a run with a Type Zero run with Queen earlier.
Yeah.
So she's still kicking.
It enables a lot of garbage favorites. We will never say this is needed. It's hard to say that entering garbage time. If you want to play just to collect rewards, if you're a fucking robot, a hoarding robot, and all you do is play this game to see numbers go up and collect gems and tickets, then yeah, skip 99% of the cast. Who gives a shit? Your next pull should be Eiko. But like if you're part of the TCC community and you do the fucking challenge runs and you just like fucking with the turn-based mechanics, I think Paine is a blast of a character.
Pain also still has the debuff memes. Like she can seriously cripple enemies now with those brave damage dealt and brave
she's
gains
essential
down.
to these like I brave down memes, these fucking huge auras that enable these shittier
Yeah, she
out-of-date
slots into
characters.
teams so easily, so easily. She's one of the most flexible units in the game. She doesn't take any buff slots on the party. She has an overhead and she has 2 buffs for herself, and she takes a 1 debuff slot, and she can do so much with that. So, definitely a super fun character to play around. Definitely, I'm personally going to invest in her, and I want to get my mileage out of her because now that I understand it, it does look fun. But
Yeah.
if you're broke and you're clearing content just fine, I think you can live without her definitely.
Yeah. But right, again, appealing to the people. Like, I forgot who it was on the TCC Discord. I gotta look again. One of the newer players who's, well, not a newer player, but more of a TCC veteran. And he was saying, like, I usually meta stomp content, but I feel like now that we're entering garbage time where content is more lax, I want to learn the intricacies of the game. Is what they said. And
even
like,
if that perspective, like I think this is a great banner overall.
Yeah.
If you can land Machina as BT eventually, and we could segue maybe into Hitmonchan's question about which banner.
Oh yeah, exactly.
After this,
yeah, perfect.
But there is a lot of there is a nuke DPS in Machina's green BT, and there is one of the most wide coverage supports in the game. Paine. Like I was talking about this in my video. Like she does so much, but then I started thinking of the things she doesn't do, like healing, turn delay, launch. Like, okay, she doesn't do everything, but like buff wise, she does a lot.
Yeah, and before we move on, I just want to say, like, Squax, this is what I want to see, right? Like, I feel like this is creative. Hell, you could do a whole fucking year of characters having different effects depending on where they're placed. And I believe that, like, BC was saying earlier, and I don't want to get into it because it's JP stuff, but, like, when 6-man content comes, that adds a whole nother layer to
Paine. I think Paine can shit. I don't know. Actually, let me just not say it because I don't know, but I know Paine can do something interesting in 6-man, but I don't know for sure, so I'm not going to speak on it.
Right, like, but like this is such
I think her auras shift around.
Yeah, this is such a flexible mechanic that it's just paying dividends when the game gets more complicated, right? Like it's just so beautiful. And like good news here. I didn't know till BC said it that Luna Freya has similar mechanics as well. But this was something that I was hoping would become a recurring thing moving forward. This is a whole new untapped category of depth in turn-based defo. So like, I really do hope they keep experimenting with stuff like this. I think Paine is a great step in the right direction, which is why
Yes.
I decided to speak with my resources. Right?
Yeah, Taco FB says, I think. Oh no, Ponchu, never mind. Says she can't double 10. All right, cool. He plays JP, so I think he'd know. But
Paine can.
always double check your sources, guys. That's what I'm trying to say.
Right. Okay, you're right. Ooh, so moving on from what we say is a niche pick to what is arguably much more visceral, much more exciting, is the first member of the Millionaire Club, Machina BT Plus. Could you
Yes.
walk us through what he gets?
So I could spend time like I did in my video talking about what Machina's base HP plus got, but uh,
No,
I
that's
want to.
fine. Just like the basics
Yeah,
of like what he got new, right?
he got a BT plus, and when he gets this BT plus, wait, I feel
Oh
like
wait,
I'm
this is
robbing
a new
people's
BT.
time.
No, this is a new BT, right?
Oh,
So
oh,
the
it's an
BT.
entirely new BT,
Yeah.
right?
So we
Yeah.
should talk about the BT effect, right.
Yeah, the
Okay.
BT effect, because in practice, you're not going to be pressing Machina's stuff largely. You're going to be setting him up. Skill 1 is now free turn. It wasn't a free turn before, but now it has a Brave Gain and some more Brave hits, so it does more damage. Skill 2 is a double HP attack, and it has instant break on it. So if Machina is a character that benefits heavily from attacking broken targets, so if you need to land a break for some reason, it's not very hard to do, but he can force break now. And with his LD, well, his HP plus, his base HP plus, that you'll probably never see that often. It got upgraded to always guarantee he'll get a consecutive turn. So if you use the base Furious Blades on his HP attack, he will get an instant turn, and the next one will be free. And he also charges his EX when he does this, so he can be a lot more consistent with his skills. That's the button you're probably going to be pressing, but I wouldn't recommend using Machina without his BT plus. His LD boards also made this is actually really important for him. His LD boards made his debuff act as a trap effect. So after the enemy takes a turn, he will do his follow up. And this can chain nicely because if Machina takes damage and he gets a counter, he'll do the counter and then he'll chain that Brave he stole right into the follow up again, and it'll do decent damage. The real meat of what he got though was his BT effect, and this is why he's in the Million Club. The actual effect is he gets not big overflows. He gets decent overflow. Let me pull up Child's Companion, by the way. He gets 30% of both stolen and brave. 30% stolen and brave gained overflow. He gets 8, and it's a stacking debuff, and it goes up every time Machina does damage. It is not when Machina acts. So in theory, you can actually let Machina's thing go up, his BT stacks go up with the if he does an off turn trap counter, whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
The enemy takes a turn, he'll follow up, assuming his debuff is active. Regardless, at max, he's given 30% HP damage up, 30% HP cap up, which I love.
Yeah.
And he gets a new HP attack. It is a 7 2 brave plus HP attacks. And y'all know how much I rave about having great HP attack or having a lot of HP attacks. Does this mean there's
so
a
many
really
dumps?
high
Holy shit,
damage
man!
stealing? Yeah,
That's
7,
so many
and
dumps.
then that's 7 HP attacks, and he starts. He does a Brave Gain to the first one, and then he refunds in the middle right afterwards. So, and then he'll do, assuming his LD debuff was up, which why wouldn't it be? He'll do another attack afterwards. So that's 8 HP attacks he's got in one button.
Wait, so does he just chain this? Does he just chain this like infinitely until his BT effect runs out?
So ideally, what you're doing with him is you're activating his finisher.
Mm.
You're gonna do it once, and the important thing to know is that Machina delays himself like Sync when he does his HP attack. So hold down the button before you press the button, and he'll send himself backwards.
Oh, okay.
But this is actually decent because he can then, because his debuff acts as a trap now, he'll actually follow up on the off turn and then get his debuff to 3 stacks. So you can do it once. It's got 8 turns on it, and then go into his BT phase, and because he can't delay himself in his own BT phase, and you just kind of go nuts, and you could clear an easy like 8 to 10 mil BT phase just doing his HP attack over and over and over and over again, and then he'll have the BT effect as soon as he gets out of the BT phase, and then he can keep doing those HP attacks, but he'll actually keep the stacks and he'll keep doing damage because since he delays himself, he'll be doing it off turn. So this BT effect, not only can he blow people up in his BT phase with one go, but once he's letting the BT phase go down, he's going to be delaying himself and keeping this effect up pretty much the entire battle.
Wait, so you have to BT plus before you go into the BT phase, though, right?
You need to finish her first. Finish her first, you can unlock the HP attack, and then go into the phase and just let them all loose. And then by the time his BT effect is gone, the boss is probably dead.
Yeah. Because we data mined it. It's like most bosses are not going over 30 mil. So if he can do like 10 mil in his phase and then like he has all that HP plus
that's
afterwards.
Like average. So because Machina raises HP cap on this and because he gives those overflows, one of the best people to pair with him ends up actually being Selfie because her LD debuff doesn't go down at burst phase turns. So you can, if you, let's say Machina's Brave cap is like what, 170k? Or his HP cap is 170k, and he's hitting that for all of his 8 HP attacks, assuming the follow-ups in there, and then he does a full launch with 2 more people, you can clear like 2 million with the right setup, depending on how much HP cap you have. This is nuts. Mm-hmm. I don't think people realize how much damage Machina can do. When Jagron got trashed and people jumped to his defense, they're like, "Oh, he can do 1 million." Like that's like Machina's damage doing 1 million is, without best case scenario, you can get really, really high just because that HP damage ceiling is enormous.
Mm-hmm. All right. That being said, from the GL perspective, to address some of this JP hype everyone's fucking talking about, there's so many things being said about Machina. It's fucking ridiculous, right? Yeah. The first is he comes right before the C90 creep, so he is the worst of the Millionaires Club. That is something I see being said very often right now. Because Noel's coming right after, Locke right after, each one arguably progressively stronger than the last. Alright, so that's being thrown out there. I don't see the fucking argument here. I guess people don't want to green the worst of the Millionaires Club.
Right? I wouldn't even call him the worst. Right now, even as much of a Noel stan as I am, I'd say Noel probably has the worst future.
I mean, from a GL player perspective looking ahead, this is almost probably the best investment because he comes back as a big player in early Shinryu Force.
Correct, and you don't have to because when Locke and Noel are the other people that I call it in the Millionaire Club because they have big damage buttons.
Yeah.
But Noel, like the way they've been treating BT units in the FR era is they only rework them if they're getting an FR. Mm-hmm. So right now, Machina is like Tidus is running things right now, but Machina is a close second, and you don't have to get another FR to do that. So
right. So like if we're comparing the members of the Millionaire Club, at least for the foreseeable future, Machina has the most return on investment right now because he comes back so early in the new era where there is a jump in power. And he does help smooth that over minimum fucking investment, right? Because he doesn't get any new weapons or anything. He just gets those force boards, and he holds his damn fucking own, right? So, like, to me, if I'm talking about pure, like, hoarding mentality, get the most return on investment, right now, he looks like he's the best. Because Noel is kind of in the middle. Like, he's not the best of the Millionaires Club. Arguably,
I think Noel has the highest damage ceiling, but you need to work a little harder to get there.
Yeah.
Specifically, like pairing him with like Lloyd, for example.
Yeah.
Where you can you can do that every single turn. Like that ends up being a lot.
Yes.
But again, there's different play styles, different things to optimize them. Machina is easier to pair with Brave gains up. Noel is raw Brave damage and ignore defense. So you want to ramp his Brave damage and manipulate his turns correctly. Whereas Locke Locke isn't guaranteed million all the time, but there's different setup, but Locke has a busted BT effect. Mm-hmm. So there is nuance, and I need to make it clear again that just because there are 3 characters that do a lot of damage in succession, there is nuance between them. You also at the same time don't need either of them to do content.
Right. These are just going to be the most exciting ticket items at this point because people like seeing power creep. You know, like, let's be fucking honest. People like seeing the power creep. They like seeing the big numbers. So these three characters are going to be talked about often, and probably compare, because we talk about this all the time. It's much more exciting to see a character do huge numbers in a burst phase or in one button press than like a core who does damage over time. Like it took 6 months for people to be like, oh damn, I guess core is a good character. It's fucking ridiculous, right? Like how long it takes for these off-turn characters to get their due. But so like, okay, so I don't think C90 is a detraction from Machina. He
Not
comes
at
back
all.
the fastest.
Not in the slightest. Any JP player, and like I think I swear the people saying this like probably didn't play JP, because any JP player worth the damn knows that Machina kept kicking. He kept kicking like crazy. So that's just a completely dumb take. And I haven't really. Some people are concerned that it might be the case, but I don't think anyone actually thinks that in practice, because like I've been showing with Zach before he gets his BT and his level 90 stats, you can just buff him. You can get that damage. Like
Ed the Warlock says, aren't Noel and Locke on a triple BT banner later too?
They are.
They are, but I mean, if you're that type of player, go for it. I do not like waiting for those banners.
Yes, that is out of both of their primes.
Yeah, yeah. If I like Noel or I like Locke, I'm pulling now, because when that banner comes along, they're irrelevant at that point, and you're only pulling for collection purposes and not to actually play them. Let's be real. Yeah.
Yep.
So that's one concern. That's my opinion on one of these issues with Machina. I feel like he's the best investment. If I was purely thinking,
I agree, and I'm going to use my resources that follow the same path.
Yes, that's one. The second thing is, I think people wanted a disclaimer that Machina takes more work and setup to hit the million club compared to Noel and Locke. Compared to Noel and Locke.
I'm not sure. Locke is the easiest to do it, but he's not. Like, Machina is every turn of his BT phase, but he delays himself. Noel is every other turn, just based on, because his BT effect makes it so he gets his EX back every turn. His EX is a nuke. You can ramp that up if you pair him with turn manipulators who charge the EX, like Ash or Lloyd. I don't. How the fuck do you say his name?
Lude. Like that's Lude, dude.
Okay,
yeah.
Lude. Okay, so you compare him with Lude, and then Noel becomes king because then he has splash on his stuff, and Ultima Weapon and raising HP caps helps that as well. So I say Noel on paper can have the highest damage, but you need to work for it. So I mean, let me take a step back. Why wouldn't you optimize your DPS?
I guess the concern, to play devil's advocate, I guess the concern is not everybody has the tools always to optimize a character. So they're looking for the character that, like, a character with minimal setup is more appealing, because you didn't have to collect like all the pieces along the way.
Yes, I agree. And Locke is minimal setup.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, right? Like, Locke is supposedly the winner of the Millionaires Club. But
there's also diminishing returns.
Yeah, of course, yeah. And we'll get to that when we talk about Locke. Nidre says, I stopped using Machina because I got newer stuff, but I'm pretty sure he was good long after I stopped using him. Right. Yeah. And the...
it's not hard work to get Machina to that level, by the way.
Right.
It's not like you need to bend backwards and bring like a bunch of HP cap up and overflow like you need to do with Jagron.
Yeah.
You could just like bring Selfie or some other Brave King support, or Paine, for example, or stack a BT like a Stoll or something. It's not rocket science getting Machina to do a lot of damage. It's just basic team building 101. So I don't think that's a worthy criticism.
And the last concern here that you kind of already touched upon here is people are asking, are the members of the Millionaire Club truly interchangeable?
No. Care
to elaborate?
No. Refuses to elaborate. I mean, they have different ways of going about the damage, but assuming you support them properly, then they can.
Nidre is saying he thinks he's the hardest to support out of the Millionaire Club. He disagrees with you on Noel. Yeah. Nidre is saying that, yeah.
Well, Nidre is a magic heart, so...
Okay.
Where did he say that? But the important context there is that he put it in quotes, meaning that it's relative.
Yeah.
And I think the lack of C90 stats would probably go along with that, but it really can be as simple as bringing Brave gain up and potentially HP HP cap. So like Istola's BT, press Istola's BT plus and let Machina go nuts.
Mm.
That's really all, or just use some HP damage that calls. Like I assume some level of competency when people are using units. You know.
Yeah, but I mean that's assuming too much. Look at Rain's Mal, right? Like,
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
always remember Main's Mal. Never forget how many people dropped that team
No,
because
I push back on that. The people, no, that's too violent. It's TCC. I refuse. I don't know. I don't want to. I'm not. I refuse to make Machina complicated.
Mm,
There's not a lot of moving parts there.
okay, that's fair. Then I come back to this. All right, but
Support, do damage. Press big shiny button, do damage.
yeah,
That's
that's
not some Galaxy Brain term manipulation like Rain's Mount. Planning a couple turns ahead, you literally BT finisher, and then maybe your damage isn't as high as you wish it was, but it's still a lot of damage.
Okay, so that was our in-depth take on Machina. Wow, I think we covered those two characters pretty well. So we're just gonna wrap up these last 20 minutes or so with we'll just address some questions. And then this will circle back to some conversation for fucking sure.
Wait, Ink says one thing. Isn't lock the hardest used due to buff management? No, lock is difficult on paper, but I was talking. I forget. I think I talking to you? No, I think I was talking to Goose earlier about it, and I was telling him, Tell and Goose actually separate conversations, but I was telling them lock is actually relatively easy. You just need to think about how do I get the HP plus, and it ends up just being either press LD or press go one and then press EX. So lock is not complicated at all either. You just need to practice. I'd say it's not as lock is easier than Rain's Mal. How about that? Are we measuring things in Rain's Mals now?
I think so. Yeah, that's a good measurement.
I'd say that lock is like half a Rain's Mal.
I remember there's another team that wasn't super easy to pull off before Rain's Mount. I'm trying to think. There was another. Oh right, just Airlines was a meta team that not everybody could pull off. I remember that. We talked about that a lot last year, remember? Like
there was a lot of moving parts there.
Yeah. Nidre says, yeah, Lock is not that hard, but he's definitely harder than Machina.
If Nidre says that Lock isn't that hard, he's not that hard.
I don't know. Nidre,
that was an insult.
I mean, Nidre just destroyed a lot of people's Rain's Mount runs, right? Like he humbled.
Well, that's because Nidre practiced.
Humbled Freya guy, humbled Ink Welder, humbled a lot of people.
He practiced.
All right. Okay. So moving on to questions. So this is good practice because Hitmonchan asked me this question, and he is somebody with no attachment to any of the FF characters, like your buddy, and he only cares about what is objectively strong. And he is asking which of these Machina banners is probably best to go all in on: Snow LD, Paine LD, or Ursula LD. And I can't give a good answer because I'm gonna go in on
hard.
Ursula. I'm gonna go in on Ursula because we're gonna answer this on another question, CSAM's question later, about like what gets you through garbage time. For me, it's playing with new toys, and Ursula is a new toy that I very much look forward to messing with, and I just like the character in general. It's Yong's daughter, right? We all know I'm a big Yong fan, and then like I don't know how to feel about these other characters. Like I feel like Paine is a lot of fun, but could you objectively say she's a meta pick out of the three? And Snow comes back later, but the LD is pretty strong. I know Nidre's vote here is Snow. I know he says Snow LD is a prize pull. But, like, I gotta excuse myself from this, but strictly objective meta power, which of these three banners would you suggest?
I've been going over this in my head. It's a rough one because having pulled Snow myself in JP and never using him except for farming, like if you're, I hate everything. I hate tank discourse in this damn community. But if you've got enough people that can keep you alive in the party, you can enjoy Snow, but I think you can definitely live without him. I pulled him in JP, but it's because I'm really the worst person to ask for this because I like running Zach, and Zach and Snow are completely incompatible. That ended up with me never running Snow in anything just because I couldn't run him with Zach. But people in So if you're thinking, because Snow's got some cheese stuff on his BT too,
Mhm.
and I know people love their cheese. Um, so if you get his LD now, that's less to get on, because I think Snow's cycle is actually pretty stacked. Let me look that up real quick.
I
We
love
got we
how
got some
hard I
really
love how hard it is for BC to come up with an answer, right? It's like a multiple choice, three
because
answers.
let me limit it down. It's definitely not Ursula.
Okay, so not Ursula.
Ursula's the last in line,
Got it.
and then it becomes, because the lion banner is absolute doo doo. The snow banner is not great because it's got lion on it. Let me rephrase that. Let's see. Who was during Snow has Raijin's LD call and has Kadaj's upgrade. Raijin's LD call is one of the most meta calls in JP currently for avoiding mechanics, and Kadaj is very helpful because he becomes a no brave gain debuff on his call, and he's very good for Transcendence 9. And then Cisne is also on Snow Cycle. And Cisne is like the meta follow up character.
Oh my god, this is a
Um,
hard choice, yeah.
yeah, so you could get Snow's LD now and then go pity the BT later while you're getting one of these amazing banners. Um, so pure meta purposes. Yep, yeah, that kind of confirms it for me. Snow.
Snow. Okay,
No.
Snow. I think I agree with that. Pure meta purposes, you're right.
Yeah.
Ursula's not it. Paine is not
No.
it. We just talked about it. She's not a meta pick. And so
Yep.
yeah. So yeah, like Snow makes sense.
And let me clarify again for the people who don't get it. Just we're saying Snow. I think Pain is amazing, and I'm personally going to invest in her. But I think you can also live without her. Hence, she's not a meta pick.
Moonmeister
that
says
needed
I was
clarification.
already leaning Snow. Thanks for confirming.
Yeah. Not when I lay it out like that. Like, I didn't realize how loaded Snow Cycle is.
That's why I really love these exercises, right? Like we talk about so much. I fucking hate these SYPs that sit on the fucking fence. Make a call and take your bias out of it, right? Like these new players we have that just they don't give a shit about any FF character.
Some people, it really does help having someone who is new.
Yeah.
And I try to put myself like, okay, what do I tell him? That's when I try to it really clicked for me. Like, what would I tell him to do? Like, I wouldn't say, well, I mean, you can skip it, right? But I mean, nah, like Simmering slaps. Lion Snow can be easily skipped. I agree, considering I never used him once and never felt the need to. But from a meta perspective, if people are trying to do those, like especially near like the end of garbage time when people were like one-shotting summons, people like, just because I don't like doing that doesn't mean people don't like doing that.
Yeah.
And getting Snow's LD now and then going crazy on one of those later banners, because Lease is probably the weakest of the Snow Cycle. And then Cisne and Raijin, that Raijin banner are very good. So yeah, Snow. Snow would be my choice.
Rogueson redeemed a Q&A saying, how would Nero and Mino feel about Kingdom Hearts characters put into DFFOO, but as new costumes, not as actual playable characters, to have some fan service for the players that don't stop bringing them up? I don't know how to answer
It would be
that.
unbearable for at least a month.
For costumes?
For anything Sora related in this game.
Yeah,
I don't know
like,
if y'all saw me react to Sora getting smashed, but it wasn't pretty. So I have a very deep dislike of Kingdom Hearts because 3 ruined the series for me. And yeah, I would bitch and moan
God
for a
damn,
very long
3 alone made you hate the entire series?
time. Yep.
What about like KH Cloud, KH Zach? They're saying KH Orin and
Nope.
Squall.
I'm gonna go even further. Those aren't those characters. Those are Nomura's OCs.
They're
So
all
they don't count.
Nomura's OCs. What are you fucking
Yes,
talking
they're not the
about?
real characters. It's just violence against Kingdom Hearts for me.
Yeah.
I feel like Kingdom Hearts like how Ink feels about Edward. So
Jesus Christ.
No, it's not
I
that
mean,
bad.
more
It's not that
more is good. It's not like it takes away from anything else. You know, I don't really care. I'll buy
fuck
costumes
that.
regardless. Fuck
Fuck
it. Questions. These
Ink. Wait, no, hold on. Ink said I can no longer threaten to stop infographics if Sora comes to the game. You blew it.
are...
Blew it.
I think we discussed these. I'm checking these questions. Okay, so first is no, fuck this. Some of these questions I hate. Fine, we're going through this anyways. I can't filter out. I'm an hour and a half into drinking. In asks, what's the predictions behind GL first right now? Early boards, early C90s, or just brand new units, or or a brand new BT?
Brand new
I
BT goes dead last. Is it possible to go negative last? Because that's me on a new
I
BT.
mean, out of that choice, I'd say early C90s is my
Yeah, early
guess.
C90 seems like lightning fast forwarded so she can look not as bad.
Yeah. I think that's what they're gonna time travel. They're gonna do it now.
Yep.
Elucin says, I think we answered this. Can we get a meaty discussion on the pros and cons of grading
Meaty.
Machina, Noel, and Locke when C90 is about to hit? Would be interesting to hear different perspectives from different folks. I feel like we covered that, right? There's nothing to add to
Yeah,
that.
and just to repeat again, don't feel like you have to invest in one of them.
Oh, actually,
Because
3 people said hard agree on this. I guess people really wanted to hear it, but I feel like we covered it a good
you,
amount, right?
you don't have, you really don't have to. I mean, because we know boss HP isn't going to keep increasing, or you could just pull for LD DPS. Like you don't have to at all. But I feel so responsible because my main message was, if you're gonna invest in one of them, don't grab all of them like I two or more like I did, because it felt like overkill. And you might get burned and you might not, because I'm a huge advocate of making sure your investments matter, and because they do similar amounts of damage on average, you might be like, all right, I'm going to use Lock this time, I'm going to use Mocking this time, I'm going to use Null this time, or you'd rather just stick to one unit and then just tough it out and then get those BT mats. So I'm just trying to get people to make effective investments. Effective being the key word here, and you don't just don't do what I did, because I've maxed all of them and then only use Null.
Okay. No problem. Crush is asking, with Luna Freya getting added with a BT, who do you want to get a BT next? That's a hard question as well. I don't know. Xenos, man.
Tifa. Give me Tifa's BT. I'm saving for it. Been saving for it.
Who's left in Dissidia? So there's
Tifa. Renoa has to get her BT either next
Renoa.
or next month, because she does not have 90 yet.
Oh,
Or
shit.
or they could give Renoa 90 and not give her a BT, but that'd be kind of weird.
Yeah. Okay, so there's Renoa. There's Tifa.
I think that's it.
That's it? No, come
For
on.
the Dissidia reps, yeah.
Shit, damn. They really do have to be pulling BTs out of their asses at this point moving forward.
It's
Okay.
just full Dissidia. Like, that will be all the Dissidia reps out the window. You guys can cope into like Aerith and VV and whatever you want to do, and Garnet, but like the people that were actually in the damn games, and then Xenos, obviously.
Yeah. Xenos is coming, man. I'm
A
not
character
gonna, I'm
in
not gonna
FF14
be
needs a
Xenos
burst for every expansion. FF14 fans.
Who said that? God damn it, Roxin. God.
You guys are just
a
exposing
burst for
yourselves.
every expansion? Dude, if you want to go by that rule, every FF11 character should get a fucking burst, because each one is from a different expansion. Get the fuck out of here.
I hate BT discourse.
Also, every FF15 needs a burst for each DLC. Alright, I'm banning Roxin.
Every FF15 needs to. I hope he's trolling. Like that'd be like FF11 does have that. I hate this so much. You guys don't understand.
Wait. They have 3?
Krish.
No, they have 4.
Cam, Eld,
And Toto. Yeah, they have 4. Yeah, come on. Alright. If tomorrow is the apocalypse, which FF game would you marathon to finish before the world ends?
Price the Core.
Interesting. Shit. I don't know this one. Most fun to play? Maybe 10 for me. I think 10
Crisis
is
Core
a
7
complete.
remake. Probably Crisis Core.
Is there a niche game? Would I play tactics? Nah, nobody likes tactics. I'll go with 10. I'll go with 10. What is the best third for Ishtola Machina, assuming that all orb conditions are covered via those two? Or calls are a friend?
HP cap. Or wait, friend unit BT.
No, just a third. Just a third in party for Ishtola Machina.
Something raises HP cap.
Who's that?
That's going to be the limiting stat at that point. So that'd be who's massive HP, not unit, because you can't BT plus. Who gives like Maria gives massive HP cap.
Really?
Who else does? Arden gives massive HP cap. Twins, if it's 3 targets. Yeah, I mean, just your HP damage cap is your limiter at that point. So anyone who's got like 20 plus HP cap up, that's what you want.
Okay. And finally, CSAM asks, how do you intend to keep garbage time interesting considering it's now here? I'm planning on touching grass. This is what I wanted to get into. I think the person I mentioned, I'm gonna find this fucking name in the post show, but they were saying, hey, I want to settle down and dive into the mechanics now that it's more lenient to clear content. I feel like that's a really good attitude. I was telling BC before the show too, I've been having a blast during quote unquote garbage time just by playing with the new toys. Right? Like we said on the ranting hour, I feel like some of these kids are so creative right now. Despite, like, power levels aside, they're trying very interesting shit. And I'm all here for it. Because why would I not try the fun stuff when you can, right? Like, you're not punished for pulling the fun stuff. Like, if it's garbage time for 6 months and you're paranoid of still pulling meta, there's no hope for you. I was telling BC before the show, like, I don't think you're going to have a lot of fun if all you ever do is hoard. Somebody said it. Like, this game isn't... Goose said it. Goose said, this game is not that fun if you don't pull often. Let's be real. Because you're just running the same characters, the same teams, the same strats, over and over and over. Like, that's boring as shit. The whole point of having 160 characters is having
Experiment.
Yeah. Just fuck around, see how things interact with each other. It's like, to Honor Inc. once again, with a Lego analogy.
Honor.
It's like playing with Legos. And would you rather have like a wide varied set of a lot of different blocks and seeing how they all piece together? Or are you only going to be playing with the same 4 fucking Lego blocks for years and years and years just to save money?
The game isn't that complicated. It's easy to get bored of stuff.
Yeah, like, if you've been playing for years and you feel like you need to always save for meta, that you haven't developed the skills to make jank shit work. Because, look, let's be real, the reason they have these long extended garbage times is so you can make jank shit work. Like, pull whatever, do whatever, you're gonna clear the content.
I've been having an insane amount of fun with the Zach Maria team. Like, sometimes you just mess around until you find something you really enjoy, and then you keep doing it.
Yeah, like
if you watch my channel over the years, I do such radically different stuff. Like, so, like, now I'm in a binge of enjoying just like pure meta and then rush down with Titus, Kane, and JP. Meanwhile, I'm doing fucking Zach Comps and GL and just loading with Brave Canes. Like, I approach. That's why people ask me if I get bored of having JP and GL accounts, and I explicitly go out of my way to try interesting things, and it's been working for so long. I mean, part of it is that I just love the game, but just try stuff, bro. I mean, I don't know how you can make it any more difficult than that. Just see if you like it.
Yeah,
if it sounds interesting. Try it out.
So yeah, that's the number one thing I want to say is that, like, credits to Macnell. I was stressing out over garbage time. Like, am I gonna be able to hold my interest of 6 months of easy content? Luckily, I'm playing DissidiaFFOO very casually now. I'm doing a lot more other shit outside of DissidiaFFOO. And so, playing DissidiaFFOO casually, just pulling the new toy, playing with a new toy, and instead of thinking about power levels and clearing things, I'm just automatically assuming I can clear every event going in blind. Just seeing how I can use the new toy is a ton of fun for me.
Or just play the game less.
Yeah. Like, there's such a thing as too much fucking hoarding. And this is it. If you're hoarding through garbage time, it's too much, man.
Like, if you're hoarding and you're not having fun, like if you're bored, like we had this thing like during Chaos, people hoarded too much and then they got bored. That's the if you're bored and I see you got a lot of gems, I want to slap the shit out of you because play the game. You're bored because you're not playing.
That's a good point too. Hoarding is literally not playing the game.
Yes, that's why we say hoarding is a disease, because these people own themselves all the time.
Hoarding is a disease.
It's either they have trouble with content but don't want to give up their gems, or they're bored but they also don't want to try something different and give up their gems.
Yeah, that's how so many people like Sly quit.
Experiment.
Rest in peace.
Experiment. Yeah, just it's either play the game more or, ironically, play the game less. Adjust.
Yeah.
Or if you're not enjoying it, just stop playing. I mean, it's not your job to figure out why you should be interested in a game if you're not enjoying it that much. I mean, just stop playing. I mean, People stop playing this game. I have people I know who played the game for years, and they just don't feel like it eventually. That's fine too. Don't force yourself to play a game you're not enjoying, but also identify why you might not be enjoying the game. Try.
Moonmeister says, don't really have the time to make jank shit work, to be honest. I haven't been interested enough in this game to invest lots of time for a while now, sadly. So, Moonmeister, real talk, while we wrap up this show, I'm going to say... So I'm getting conflicting messages here, because you're saying you don't have time to make jank shit work, but
you're on a Twitch stream for a mobile game. You got time.
Yeah, but you also say I haven't been interested to invest more time. So I'm confused here. Do you not have the time, or do you not want to invest the time? Because you're saying you don't have the time to do experiment, but you're not interested enough to put in more time. So it's either you don't have the time or you don't want to put in the time.
And
so
the latter is kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Right. So I want to say, everyone in this position, if you don't have the time to play this game,
you're not here.
Yeah, if you only have the time to collect resources, then real talk, this isn't a game anymore, it's a chore. Yeah. You're literally just upkeeping to collect resources to do what? Because, like, if you're not playing the game, you're not spending the resources, you're not experimenting, you're not literally interacting with the game, this is just another item on your chore list of let me log in every day to collect resources. For what? Like, what are you collecting resources for?
Yeah, what do you say you're hoarding for?
Yeah, if you don't have time... Yeah, if you don't have time... Moonmeister says those two don't contradict. I can obviously put in more time in the game if I find it interesting, but it hasn't been for some time. It's gotten stale. Right.
Okay, that is the exact point I was talking about, because I know you're a fucking gem millionaire, so this is a solvable problem, but you're also always looking for the easy way out, so you're not trying to find interest.
Right,
so this
right.
This is a you problem.
So this is a perfectly solvable problem. Either the game does not interest you, and this is just a chore list.
Yeah, what are you playing
and
for?
You're torturing yourself for playing. And I'm not saying everyone should fucking quit, but I'm just saying, like, I cannot fathom keeping up with a game that I just don't find fun anymore. I don't understand why so many people fucking do it. Like, that's just killing yourself. I don't know why people do it. That's one. Or you can spend all your resources, try jank shit, and have fun. It's one or the other, right? Like, invest the time to have fun, or stop playing the game. I don't understand of upkeeping the game, not spending resources to try shit, and expecting it to get better. It's not going to get better if you don't play the fucking game. You're either going to try jank shit, which is playing the game, or I just don't understand why you're collecting resources. Because you collect resources to try jank shit. Otherwise, what the fuck is the point of the game?
Hoarding in hopes of the next big thing to make it interesting again. Well, you're waiting for the game to interest you instead of you trying to find an interest. If you're going to be that passive, then it's never going to work.
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you. You're waiting for the game to excite you, but it's not going to happen. There's nothing magic. The game is always going to be Dissidia. Like, there's not going to be anything groundbreaking. It's going to play the same. Especially if you're trying to do as little as possible, you're missing out on so much nuance in the game. Just how about this? Just do a roll a dice, like flip a coin. And use some random number generator, and then go pity and LD, and then use them. You got the gems. You won't feel it.
Yeah.
Try something new. That'll be refreshing. But if you're doing the same thing and expecting different results.
Yeah. And that is a strong way to end, because Mark always yells if we go over the 2-hour mark. Wait, how much money should subs give to Mark to make him pity and green all three of Machina, Noel, and Locke? And is this the same amount required for him to just green Gilgamesh? I'm going to go ahead and guess like 30 subs for him to green all three. And maybe also Gilgamesh. So we'll talk about that. Let's put that on the board for now. I know Broadway did 5, Aang did 5, so 20 more. He'll green all 4. We'll see. But yeah, let's cut off there. Good show. Thank you so much for joining, BC, filling in for Mark. Always fun. I told your fucking ass. BC was like, "Oh, I'm dying," and I'm like, we're always gonna find shit to talk about." So
I do wake up.
and now we somehow passed up everybody else, like Litz and stuff. So like, we're just here to see the shit. Thank you, BC, one of the 2 allowed guests right now on TCC, and
I didn't know that until today.
You and Zeno, I'm gonna state that right the fuck now. You and Zeno have the perfect combination of being interesting personalities, being able to hold a conversation, and having your own insight.
Stuff in your face while you're talking to me.
Yeah. Show over. Show over. We're going to move the podcast. Mark, cut this. This is the end of the show. This point. Cut it out. All right.